So you're thinking about moving to Denver, but not sure where to start? Well, in this video, you're gonna learn exactly how to find the perfect home in the absolute best neighborhood for you with all the insider tips along the way. Now, this is the exact formula that we use to help our clients in the decision-making process when they're coming from out of state and moving to Colorado and really don't know much about what they're getting into or what area is gonna work best for them. So by the end of this video, you guys are gonna know exactly how to go through the process from start to finish in terms of finding the best neighborhood and the best home for you guys when you finally make your move out here to Colorado. All right, so before we get into it, Will and I had just gotten off a Zoom call with some clients where we went over this exact process with them. They made a comment at the end of the call indicating that, just how helpful it was and it answers so many of their questions. They're like, man, we just didn't even know where to start, but all the questions you guys asked us and the process we just went through, they're like, man, that was so helpful. Thank you. That made me wonder, like, man, I bet there's a lot of other viewers out there that they're just kind of watching our video and they're checking out some different areas. And maybe you're doing your own research, which is giving you some guidance on some certain places and things like that. But really on this video, I wanted to go over the whole process that we take our clients through and just certain questions that we ask them pertaining to, their profession, their personal life, their personal preferences, family situations, things like that. And really by getting answers to those questions, that's what helps us determine what areas, what neighborhoods, and what cities are going to work for them and what we should recommend. So in this video, guys, we're going to break down all of that stuff for you. So let's get right into it. Okay, so first off, it is all going to start with your priorities. All right, now some people that are coming out here, their profession is bringing them out here, and that is priority number one. So whether they're working from home and need to travel a lot, or they need to live in a certain location so that they have accessibility to their office or a hospital or what have you, it's all going to depend on why you're coming out here in the first place, right? When we're looking at priorities, a lot of that can be, like I just mentioned, professional. Some people are coming out here because of personal priorities, like they want a more active lifestyle. They really love nature. They want to be a little secluded in the mountains, or they're coming out here for their kids who want to be involved in a certain sport or school. It's all going to depend on your personal situation. When we're talking to clients, this is one of the first things that we're going over is, hey, what is actually bringing you to Colorado? Now, let's say somebody is moving here because of a professional reason, but personally, they really want to go out and enjoy nature and ski or snowboard. And in their situation, the closer they can get to the mountains, the better, as long as they have high-speed internet or maybe proximity to the airport. So we're really trying to match those things up. A lot of times there can be multiple priorities for you guys. As you're planning your trip out here to Colorado or your move to Colorado, I would literally just write down your top priorities. Number one priority, proximity to this or a lifestyle such as this, because that's going to be the one main factor that everything else is kind of built on. All right, jumping in here real quick, guys. I want to remind you that we are licensed real estate brokers, and as much as we like making these videos, we'd love more to help you with your real estate needs. So there's a number popping up down below. Give us a phone call, text message, or email. We'd love to jump on a Zoom call with you, go over more of these questions, and help you personalize your research when it comes to moving to Denver. All right, let's get back to it. Now we need to start looking at priorities as far as your living situation. So that could be your neighborhood and that could be your specific home. That's where we go through really the list of must-haves and nice-to-haves. All right. So as you're doing your homework and preparing to move to Colorado, or even just thinking about it, get a sheet of paper and you're literally going to write out a column of must-haves and you're going to write out a column of nice-to-haves. It is important to note here that everything in real estate is a balance, right? One of the conversations we have with our clients quite a bit is what actually makes up the price of a home. Whether your budget is $100,000 or $10 million, there's always a budget, right? And when we're looking at that budget is going to be composed of three primary items: that size, condition, location. Those are all pieces of this pie that we need to cut from. So when we're talking about priorities, let's say we have 10 kids, right? You're moving here from Utah and you got 10 kids. Obviously, size is going to be a priority for you. That means we may need to cut a little bit from the location piece and cut a little bit from the condition piece. But we have a gigantic home with 12 bedrooms that are going to work for you guys, right? But we had to sacrifice maybe a little bit on location and a little bit in condition. Maybe you're really looking for a home in the best possible condition, something that is in great shape. It's a new build. It's got a modern contemporary style to it. Well, maybe we have to take a little bit from the location piece or from the size piece and get something a little bit smaller but man, is that place awesome. So again, regardless of budget, this comes down to our priority conversation of, hey, what is our priority? Are we trying to be in the best location? Well, maybe we need to sacrifice on condition and size a little bit. You guys get what I'm putting down here, but that's why priorities is so important, because it's really going to help determine where we're going to live and what size of home we're going to have and what condition that home is in. And this also applies to neighborhoods as well, right? Just talking about your guys' personal preferences. If you're looking for something that is just quiet and secluded and peaceful, well, we're going to have a different recommendation for that than if you're looking for something lively with a lot of shopping and dining and just more of a hustle and bustle vibe. So now, based on your priorities and size, condition, and location, and personal preferences and things like that, we're going to start off by recommending some areas to you. When we're on these Zoom calls with you guys, if we're looking for a lifestyle priority coming out here, you're looking for accessibility to nature and hiking and mountain biking and things like that, chances are we're going to be looking at some places along the foothills. The next thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be diving into the neighborhoods that are in this certain area that we're recommending. Now, a lot of you guys are going to come out here and you're going to do an exploratory trip, or you're actually moving out. In fact, that's something that we very often recommend. And on this trip, I would plan on roughly 3 days or so. You're definitely going to want 2 days to explore Colorado. And if you have an extra day where you can just go and do some fun Colorado things while you're out here, that's definitely recommended. So typically we're recommending 3 days at a minimum, because you could fill 2 days just going and exploring areas, exploring neighborhoods, especially if you're open to northern Colorado and southern Colorado. You can break those up into 1 day each. And then on that third day, while you're out here, definitely going to want to go do some fun Colorado things. Go out to Estes Park, or go check out some of the ski resorts depending on time of year. And those are open all year long. Sometimes it's just hiking and stuff up there, or mountain biking in the summertime. Or Garden of the Gods in Colorado Springs, absolutely gorgeous. So definitely go check some of those places out. But when you're out here, again, the mission is not to find the ideal home for you. The mission is to find the ideal neighborhood. Believe it or not, finding a great home in the ideal neighborhood gets pretty easy. It's just getting to the neighborhood first. And a couple pro tips for you guys whenever you're out here exploring these areas. The most important thing here, honestly, is process of elimination. So if there's 5 potential cities for you, you want to narrow that down to just 1 or 2. So you really want to go and find the areas that will not work for you just as much as you want to find the areas that will work for you. Now, once you've found these areas that you do feel drawn to, that you are connecting with, and you feel might be a good option, here's a good pro tip. Go and check out the grocery store in that area. Okay, that sounds funny, but the grocery store is the one place where everybody comes to. All right, you're going to see a variety of demographics. Great for people watching. It's great to get a good feel for, just what is going on in that neighborhood and just what the demographics are like. I just find that going to a grocery store, again, you probably need some groceries, get a snack. And then once you're done exploring the grocery store, I like just going and driving the neighborhood. But here's the pro tip. Go and check out the neighborhoods at different times of days, okay? Because that neighborhood is going to be very different at 10 a.m. than it is from 6 or 7 p.m. at night. It's going to give you, again, a really good feel for how active the neighborhood is. Is it generally quiet? Are there a lot of kids around? Are there not any kids there? It's just a great idea to go get early morning, late afternoon, mid-afternoon, just a variety of times, just going and scoping around the area. Go out and grab some lunch, come back, check it out later in the day. You're really going to get a good feel for the neighborhood by doing that. And again, a lot of you guys are coming out here with kids and families and stuff, or maybe your parents that are moving in with you, and just getting a good feel of the neighborhood. Man, that's uber important. Now, the next thing we want to dive into is transportation. If you guys have watched any of our videos, you know we're always harping on, man, you need a car in Colorado, right? Our public transportation system is okay. It is not great. There's a really good north and south line with our light rail system. It does branch off east and west. It does go to the airport. It goes to Arvada. It goes to Lakewood. Up north, there are a few east-west branches, but once you get down south, there's really not that much. And plus, it's Colorado. You're going to want to be active, and you're going to want a vehicle in the wintertime. So definitely plan on that. But let's say you are coming out here and you have heavily relied on public transportation. Well, that's something you're really going to want to do some research on. Even still talking transportation, if you're living in the mountains, man, you're going to want to plan on maybe not just your vehicle, which should be all-wheel drive. If homes out in that area, like in Evergreen, for example, have a really long driveway, you might need to plan on getting a four-wheeler or some sort of snowblower for the wintertime, because there's definitely going to be more of that come winter than if you just live in the Denver metro area where where a shovel will do you just fine. Now, speaking of weather, this is going to be a consideration. Now, if you are living anywhere in the Denver metro area, or let's call it Denver and then like a 40-minute radius outside of there, if you're living in the Denver metro area, the weather's not going to vary that much until you go significantly south, or maybe significantly north, or significantly west towards the mountains. Once you start getting even in towards the foothills like Morrison or Evergreen, then it is going to significantly change. And that could be more snowfall in the winter, but more importantly, a lot of times that snow just sticks around a lot longer than it does in the city. If snow and driving is a factor for you, or potentially an issue, you might want to stay out of the foothills a little bit. But if that's something that you're looking for, maybe you're looking forward to being snowed in for a couple days here and there, then that might be a really good option. But it definitely is something that you should think about, especially if you do have any issues driving in the snow, or that's just a big concern for you. Down in the Denver metro area, guys, even if we get a good snow, you're generally able to drive later that day or the next day for sure, when the roads are almost always clear and just wet. How much sunshine we get here, it is amazing because we get the snow, it just doesn't stick around very long. Now, as we're dialing in your neighborhood and areas, the other factor you're going to want to take into consideration are just the local amenities. For example, I live in Elizabeth, that is about 25 minutes southeast of Parker, Colorado. We got to drive into Parker to go to a Target, right? We do have like a Safeway grocery store that's like 10 minutes away, but for some people, having those really close amenities where they want a grocery store within 5 minutes or a Target within 10 minutes, it's going to drastically impact where you live. Now, again, I'm a little bit on the outskirts. For the most part, all of our major metro cities are all inclusive and have everything that you need within them. At most, you're generally looking at maybe a 10-minute drive from your house to any big restaurants or shopping or dining or things like that. But if you're okay with a little bit of drive, an area a little bit further on the outskirts might be a great option because you get a little more elbow room, oftentimes a lot bigger lots, which a lot of you guys are looking for. If proximity to shopping and dining is important to you, again, you can have a really nice, quiet, peaceful neighborhood, and within 10 minutes, everything that you need. One thing you'll want to take into consideration as far as how important that is to you and your family. And the same thing goes with lifestyle and activities. A lot of people, they love going on walks every day and they want legit real hiking right outside their door or within 5 or 10 minute walk of their house. And there is quite a bit of that. So that is one great thing about Colorado, guys. There's so much nature everywhere that it is easy to find those places, but we've got to be a little bit strategic with where we're doing that because not all neighborhoods are going to have that sort of accessibility. Most of our neighborhoods will have, really good bike paths and things like that. But if you're looking for real hiking or real mountain biking close to your home, there's going to be some specific places that we mentioned to you guys. So again, this kind of goes back to the priorities category. So as you're filling out your priorities and your must-haves and nice-to-haves, you can go ahead and put that in the appropriate place. All right, now finally, we're jumping into budgeting and property taxes. Okay, so property taxes are going to vary quite a bit in Colorado. Overall, they're pretty affordable. You're looking at the high end of probably 1.2% of the purchase price of the home. On the low end, you're looking at 0.5% of the purchase price of the home. So depending on where you're coming from, it could be a little more, but a lot of times that's a lot less than where people are coming from to Colorado. Also taking that into consideration, that is part of your just overall budget in terms of how much you're wanting to spend on that property. Now, one really good resource we have for you guys is the Living in Denver app. And one cool thing about that, when you open up the app and you click on a particular home, you'll be able to see automatically the mortgage calculator in there. It'll factor in the price of the home. It'll put in HOA if there is one. It'll put in the property tax, and it will tell you the approximate monthly mortgage payment on that home. You can also come in here and customize your down payment and things like that. But if you haven't checked out our Living in Denver app, definitely download that. We built it to have the same user interface as Zillow, so you don't need to learn a whole new system. It should be something you're already used to using, except it will directly connect you with us. And again, this built-in calculator here is extremely helpful as you're shopping for a home, keeping that budget in mind. Now, I hope you guys found this video useful and you guys have some homework now. So go through the questions that we just went through and get out a piece of paper and write down what your priorities are, your must-haves, your nice-to-haves. Are you trying to, be close to the mountains? Are you looking for a new build? Are you very budget conscious? Whatever that may be, write down the answers to the questions that I proposed today, and that's going to get you going in a very good direction. And then if you call the number that's on the screen below, we'll go over those with you guys, give you our personal recommendations on where we feel would be a great match for you. So again, appreciate you guys watching this. We'll see you in the next video.